You did an awesome job today. Now take a breath and let it all go. Good night, let's dive in. The Celestial Tavern, a toast from the stars in the great vault of the heavens, where ancient astronomers once charted the movements of gods and monsters. Modern science has uncovered something truly astonishing: a massive cloud of alcohol drifting through space. Discovered near the constellation Aquila, this interstellar marvel, known as Sagittarius B2, lies just 390 light-years from the center of our galaxy. Spanning over 100 light-years across, it contains enough ethyl alcohol, the drinkable kind, to supply every human on Earth with 300,000 pints of beer, every day for 1 billion years. Of course, the alcohol isn't floating in frothy mugs. It's dispersed as gas and dust within a stellar nursery where stars are born. But to early sky watchers, from Babylonian priests to Renaissance astronomers, such a cosmic brew might have seemed divine. The heavens have long been a source of wonder, and now, it appears, even of spirits. Long before the secrets of the stars were understood, people saw them as distant lights, shining but untouchable. Then, in the early 20th century, a new story emerged among the scientists who studied the heavens. They spoke of stars so dense and heavy that a single sugar cube-sized piece would outweigh a towering mountain. These were no ordinary stars. After burning bright, they collapsed under their own immense gravity, crushing their matter into tiny, tightly packed neutrons. Called neutron stars, these cosmic remnants seemed almost mythical, too strange to believe. But when pulsars, regular pulses of light from deep space, were discovered in the 1960s, the legend was confirmed. The universe, it turned out, held marvels far beyond imagination, stars so dense that a tiny fragment could carry the weight of mountains. More trees than stars, a historic reflection on Earth's hidden abundance. For centuries, humans have gazed at the night sky in wonder, counting stars and dreaming of the vastness beyond. The Milky Way, with its countless sparkling lights, seemed to hold the universe's deepest mysteries. Yet only in recent times have scientists revealed a surprising truth. There are more trees on Earth than stars in our own galaxy. This realization echoes the gradual expansion of human knowledge. From ancient stargazers who charted constellations by eye, to modern astronomers who estimate the Milky Way contains roughly 100 to 400 billion stars. Meanwhile, botanists and ecologists, mapping forests from the dense Amazon to the vast Siberian taiga, have estimated Earth's trees number around 3 trillion. This extraordinary comparison between the grounded and the celestial reminds us of the hidden abundance right beneath our feet. While the stars have long inspired myths and explorations, the forests stand as living monuments to life's resilience and Earth's richness, reminding humanity to look both upward in wonder and downward in stewardship. While the stars have long inspired myths and explorations, the forests stand as living monuments to life's resilience and Earth's richness, reminding humanity to look both upward in wonder and downward in stewardship. Ancient Earth's rapid spin began to slow due to a celestial dance with its constant companion, the moon. The gravitational pull of the moon tugged gently but persistently on Earth's oceans and crust, creating tidal friction that gradually sapped the planet's spin. Over eons, this invisible force lengthened our days, molding the rhythm of life itself. This cosmic interplay between Earth and moon, written across the vastness of time, reminds us how the heavens shape the very measure of our existence. The day we know, the steady cycle of light and dark, carries within it the echoes of an ancient, faster world and the silent influence of our lunar partner. 3 Hearts Beneath the Waves, a historic tale of the octopus's blue blood. Since ancient mariners first glimpsed the mysterious creatures of the deep, octopuses have captured human imagination with their strange forms and elusive nature. For centuries, these 8-armed beings were shrouded in myth and legend, seen as sea monsters or spirits of the ocean. It wasn't until the rise of modern biology in the 19th and 20th centuries that scientists began to uncover the true wonders of the octopus's anatomy. Among the most remarkable discoveries was their unique circulatory system. Octopuses possess not 1 but 3 hearts. 2 of these hearts tirelessly pump blood to their gills, where oxygen is absorbed from the water. The third heart then circulates this oxygen-rich blood throughout the rest of the body. Adding to their uniqueness, octopus blood is not red like ours, but a striking blue. This is due to a copper-based molecule called hemocyanin, which transports oxygen more efficiently in the cold, low-oxygen depths they often inhabit. This blend of mystery and science has made the octopus a symbol of nature's ingenuity, reminding humanity that the ocean still holds countless secrets waiting to be discovered. Fire from the sky. The ancient fury of lightning. Long before the age of science, lightning was seen as the weapon of gods. To the Greeks, it was Zeus's fury hurled from Mount Olympus. The Norse believed Thor summoned thunderbolts with his mighty hammer. In nearly every ancient culture, lightning was divine, dangerous, and mysterious, a flash of power too immense to comprehend. It wasn't until the 18th century that Benjamin Franklin dared to tame it, flying his famed kite during a storm to prove lightning was electricity. Yet even modern science struggles to grasp the raw force in a single bolt. A typical lightning strike releases temperatures nearing 30,000 degrees Celsius, 54,000 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. Such searing energy can fuse sand into glass, forming strange natural sculptures called fulgurites, hidden beneath the earth where the bolt strikes. For a fleeting instant, lightning tears the sky, rewrites the ground, and reminds us that nature still wields fire worthy of myth. The 42-minute fall. Dreams of the hollow world. Long before science gave us seismographs and satellites, the idea of what lay beneath our feet sparked imagination as much as fear. Ancient myths spoke of underworlds, Hades, Sheol, or Patala, mystic realms beneath the earth's crust. But as curiosity outpaced superstition, thinkers began to wonder, what if you could dig straight through the planet? In the 17th century, Edmund Halley, of comet fame, proposed a hollow earth theory, imagining concentric spheres rotating inside one another. Later, during the Enlightenment and into the age of Jules Verne, such ideas flourished in both science and fiction, most famously in Journey to the Center of the Earth. Modern physics, though, offers a thought experiment rooted not in fantasy but in gravity. If one could drill a perfectly straight, frictionless tunnel through the Earth, and ignore the molten core, vacuum needs, and searing heat, a person could theoretically fall through the planet in about 42 minutes. Accelerated by gravity at first, they'd reach maximum speed at the core, then slow down symmetrically as they approached the other side. It's a journey no human could survive, but one that perfectly illustrates the elegant balance of mass, motion, and time. The Great Panda Deception, a tale of nature's trickster in the misty bamboo forests of China, where emperors once sought wisdom in the quiet grace of nature. The giant panda was long seen as a gentle symbol of peace. But beneath that black and white charm lies a secret, one that has puzzled caretakers for decades. Pandas sometimes fake pregnancy. This curious behavior, first noted by keepers at Chinese breeding centers, is not just folklore. Some female pandas show all the signs: nesting, eating more, even hormonal changes, yet no cub ever arrives. Why? Researchers believe it may be an evolutionary or learned behavior. In captivity, pregnant pandas receive extra care, private dens, and more food. Some suspect clever pandas may mimic the signs for those perks. To ancient naturalists, such trickery might have seemed like myth, but in today's world of science and conservation, it's just one more reason why pandas remain endlessly mysterious. Not only rare, but cunning. So remember, even the most adorable creatures can be master actors. From prisoner's fare to gourmet treasure, the curious history of lobster. In the early days of New England's coastal settlements, lobsters were so plentiful they were considered food only for the poor or desperate. As the colonial historian Samuel Sewall once remarked in the late 1600s, lobsters were fit only for prisoners and servants, so abundant that they were often fed to those at the lowest rungs of society. In fact, some colonial towns passed laws limiting how often lobsters could be served to prisoners, fearing they would grow too strong on such cheap fare. For fishermen and working-class families, lobster was a common and inexpensive meal, boiled in large pots and eaten without ceremony. The crustacean's hard shell and swampy reputation kept it far from the tables of the wealthy. It wasn't until the 19th century, with the rise of railroads and refrigeration, that lobster began its climb in status. When chefs in cities like New York discovered its sweet, tender meat, lobster transformed from poor man's food to a coveted luxury. This dramatic shift reminds us how tastes and fortunes can change over time. The reflective pigeon. For centuries, pigeons have been city dwellers and messengers, familiar companions to humans across history. Yet only in recent decades did scientists discover that these seemingly ordinary birds possess an extraordinary ability. They can recognize themselves in a mirror. The ability to perceive one's own reflection, a sign of self-awareness, was once thought to be limited to humans and a few other animals like great apes and dolphins. This belief was challenged in the late 20th and early 21st centuries, when researchers conducted mirror tests on pigeons. To their surprise, pigeons demonstrated behaviors indicating they understood the reflection was themselves, not another bird. This discovery reshaped centuries-old ideas about animal intelligence and consciousness. It showed that even humble creatures, long associated with urban life and simple tasks, possess depths of self-awareness that bridge the gap between humans and nature. Cows and the compass. For centuries, farmers and herders have observed the behavior of cattle grazing in fields, noting patterns and peculiarities. Yet it was only with the advent of modern science that a remarkable discovery was made. Cows, along with other grazing animals, tend to align their bodies along the Earth's magnetic field lines, often facing north or south while resting or feeding. This phenomenon, first systematically documented in the early 21st century using satellite imagery and field observations, revealed an invisible force guiding these creatures, one long unnoticed by human eyes. Throughout history, magnetic forces were mysterious and often associated with compasses, navigation, and the unseen energies of the Earth. That such forces could subtly influence the behavior of common livestock seemed almost magical. This magnetic alignment adds a new layer to our understanding of animal behavior, connecting ancient pastoral life to the invisible forces that shape our planet. It serves as a reminder that nature's mysteries often lie just beneath the surface, waiting for curious minds to uncover them. The sweetness that time forgot, long before sugar lined store shelves, before refrigeration or expiration dates, humanity turned to one golden substance, honey, not only for sweetness but for survival. Used by the ancient Egyptians, Greeks, Romans, and Chinese, honey was treasured as food, medicine, and even currency. It was sealed in tombs beside pharaohs and smeared on wounds by Roman soldiers. And today, archaeologists have opened those very tombs and found something astonishing. The honey was still perfectly edible, after more than 3,000 years. Why? Honey's low moisture, acidity, and natural hydrogen peroxide make it nearly impossible for bacteria or mold to grow. Properly sealed, it simply doesn't spoil. To ancient civilizations, it must have seemed like a gift from the gods, a food that never faded, a treasure sweeter than time itself. So the next time you drizzle honey on your tea or toast, remember, you're tasting something that could outlive empires. The strawberry weight of the Internet. A historic reflection on digital matter. Since the dawn of the digital age, the Internet has grown from a modest network of computers to a vast web connecting billions of people worldwide. To many, the Internet feels intangible, an invisible cloud of data floating in the ether. Yet, scientists and physicists have long been fascinated by the physical nature of information itself. In the early 21st century, researchers calculated an astonishing fact. If all the electrons that carry the data on the Internet were weighed, the total mass would be roughly equal to that of a single strawberry. This mind-bending comparison reveals how something so immense in impact and reach can be so light in substance. This paradox echoes historical shifts in human understanding, from thinking of information as weightless and fleeting to recognizing it as a form of matter and energy, however subtle. The Internet's weight, tiny yet immense in influence, reminds us that the power of knowledge often lies not in mass, but in connection. The infinite deck. a historic reflection on chance and possibility. Since the earliest days of card playing, humanity has marveled at the endless variety of arrangements a simple deck can take. But it was only with the development of modern mathematics and combinatorics that the true vastness of these possibilities became clear. Scientists calculated that a standard deck of 52 cards can be shuffled into approximately 8.06 times 10 to the power of 67 unique orders, a number so vast it surpasses even the estimated atoms on our entire Earth. This staggering fact implies that every time you shuffle a deck properly, the order of cards you create is likely one never before seen in the history of the world. From medieval card players to modern magicians, the deck's infinite potential reflects the boundless creativity and chance within the simplest of games. This realization echoes a long human fascination with chance, order, and chaos, reminding us that even in the familiar lies an unfathomable expanse of possibility. Berries unveil. For centuries, fruits like strawberries and bananas have delighted humans with their sweetness and vibrant colors, becoming staples in diets and symbols in art and culture. Yet, the common names and appearances of these fruits often mask their true botanical nature, a truth only revealed through the careful study of plant science. In the 18th century, as the field of botany developed, scientists began classifying plants with precision, revealing surprising distinctions. It was discovered that bananas, long enjoyed and cultivated across tropical regions, fit the botanical definition of a berry, a fleshy fruit produced from a single ovary with seeds embedded inside. In contrast, the beloved strawberry, with its red flesh and seeds scattered on the outside, defies the common concept of a berry and is classified as an aggregate accessory fruit. This revelation overturned popular assumptions, reminding scholars and laypeople alike that nature's categories often defy intuition. The story of bananas and strawberries stands as a testament to the evolving understanding of the natural world, bridging everyday experience with scientific discovery. The man who rewrote English. In 16th century England, when the English language was still young and wild, a playwright named William Shakespeare did something incredible. He reinvented it. Faced with emotions and ideas too big for the words of his time, Shakespeare simply created new ones. By the time he finished his plays and poems, he had introduced over 1,700 words still used today. Words like assassination, lonely, addiction, and gloomy. And phrases like break the ice, wild goose chase, and in a pickle. He didn't just write stories, he rewired the way we speak and think. So next time someone calls something laughable or majestic, just remember, they're speaking Shakespeare. The man who hiccuped through history. In a quiet town in Missouri in the year 1922, a young man named Charles Osborne was going about his day, preparing to butcher a hog, when something unexpected happened. A small jolt, a strange breath, and then a hiccup, then another, and another, and they didn't stop. What began as a moment of discomfort turned into a lifelong affliction. Osborne would go on to hiccup non-stop for 68 years, averaging 20 to 40 times a minute every hour, every day. Doctors were baffled. In the early 20th century, the nervous system was still a frontier in medicine, and no one could find a cure. Over the years, Osborne became a medical curiosity, even a guest on TV shows, yet he remained humble, patient, and remarkably upbeat. In total, he's estimated to have hiccuped over 430 million times. Then, in 1990, just 1 year before his death, the hiccup suddenly stopped. Historians and physicians alike still marvel at his endurance. In the face of a lifelong disruption, Charles Osborne lived, worked, and even raised a family. He didn't just suffer through history, he hiccuped through it. The birthday paradox. A historic reflection on life's final anniversary. Since ancient times, birthdays have been seen as moments of both celebration and portent. Yet, hidden beneath the festivities is a strange and somber truth noted by scholars across the centuries. People are more likely to die on their birthday than any other day. The earliest observations of this phenomenon can be traced back to 18th century physicians and statisticians, who, upon studying records of births and deaths, noticed an unusual clustering of mortality around the anniversary of one's birth. Folklore and superstition often linked birthdays to fate, suggesting that the day one enters the world also marked a cyclical risk. In more modern times, researchers have studied this pattern with growing rigor. Some suggest that the stress and emotional upheaval tied to birthdays, whether from celebration or reflection, may contribute to physical vulnerability. Others propose psychological factors, like the anniversary effect, where the mind and body somehow anticipate the day, subtly influencing health. Across history, this quiet truth has shadowed the joy of birthdays, reminding us that life and death often dance hand in hand, even on our most cherished days. Fred Bauer's final rest. The man who was buried in his Pringles can in the annals of modern invention. Few stories are as curious as that of Fred Bauer, the man who revolutionized snack food packaging. In the 1960s, Bauer, a chemist and food storage expert, devised the iconic Pringles can, a cylindrical container designed to keep potato crisps fresh and intact. His invention forever changed how millions enjoyed their favorite snacks. But Bauer's connection to his creation went beyond mere innovation. When he passed away in 2008, he requested a most unusual tribute. A portion of his ashes be buried inside a Pringles can. Honoring his wish, his family placed some of his remains within the very invention that had defined his legacy. This unusual burial stands as a testament to a life intertwined with creativity and a playful sense of humor. It is a reminder that history is often shaped not just by grand events, but by the small, quirky moments that capture the human spirit. Napoleon's unlikely foe. In the annals of history, the mighty Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte is remembered for his grand battles and sweeping conquests across Europe. Yet, among his many tales of war and strategy lies one of a most unusual skirmish, an encounter not with soldiers but with a horde of rabbits. In 1807, after signing a treaty in the town of Tilsit, Napoleon arranged a rabbit hunt to celebrate the occasion. His aides gathered hundreds of rabbits, intending a grand sport. But when the cages were opened, the rabbits, far from fleeing, charged toward the emperor and his party in what could only be described as an unexpected invasion. The rabbits swarmed Napoleon and his men, hopping relentlessly, much to the surprise and amusement of all. This bizarre episode, recorded by witnesses and passed down through time, reveals a lighter, almost whimsical moment in the life of a figure often associated with war and power. It reminds us that history is filled not only with battles and diplomacy, but also with peculiar stories that humanize even the greatest of leaders. Older than empires, the timeless halls of Oxford history doesn't always unfold the way we expect. While towering pyramids and golden empires evoke ancient grandeur, some of the oldest institutions are quietly nestled in rain-soaked stone. Oxford University, the iconic seat of learning in England, began formal teaching as early as 1096, during the reign of William II. Its foundations were laid when Europe was still emerging from the shadows of the Dark Ages, and the idea of universities was itself revolutionary. Meanwhile, across the ocean, still unknown to Europeans, the future site of Tenochtitlan, the capital of the Aztec Empire, lay unbuilt. The Aztecs would not found their civilization until 1325, more than 2 centuries after Oxford's first lectures echoed in medieval halls. This unexpected timeline reminds us that ancient is often a matter of perspective. While Aztec temples rose in brilliant symmetry under the sun, Oxford's spires stretched skyward in misty England, each a monument to human thought, 2 worlds building legacies on different calendars. The fear behind the ears. Walt and the Mouse. In the golden age of American animation, one man's imagination built an empire of dreams. Walt Disney, storyteller, showman, and visionary, introduced the world to a cheerful little mouse in red shorts, who would become the face of wonder itself. But behind the magic there lies a surprising twist. Walt Disney was afraid of mice. Born in 1901, Walt grew up on a Missouri farm where mice were common and unwelcome guests. Like many children of his time, he developed a discomfort, perhaps even a fear, of the skittering creatures. Yet in the 1920s, while trying to recover from the loss of rights to his earlier creation, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, Disney imagined a new character, simple, optimistic, and full of charm. The result was Mickey Mouse. By giving his childhood fear a smile and a voice, Walt Disney didn't just confront it, he transformed it into an icon. Mickey debuted in 1928's Steamboat Willie, becoming the heart of a cultural. The most ironic fear in history, in the world of curious words, few are more ironic than this one: hippopotamonstrossesquipedaliophobia. The fear of long words. Though it sounds like ancient medical jargon, this term is more joke than diagnosis. Its roots come from Latin and Greek, with sesquipedalian meaning a foot and a half long, once used by Roman poet Horace to mock overly long words. To make it even more absurd, someone added hippopotamonstro, turning the word itself into a tongue-twisting monster. It's not a real clinical term, but a clever creation. A linguistic wink to the fact that language can be both expressive and playfully cruel. So yes, the word for fear of long words is a very long word. The Mandela Effect. A historical tale of shared false memories. Throughout history, the human mind has often played tricks on memory. But in recent decades, a peculiar phenomenon known as the Mandela Effect has captured popular imagination. Named after the surprising number of people who collectively misremembered the death of Nelson Mandela, believing he died in prison in the 1980s when in fact he passed away in 2013. This curious effect reveals how groups of people can share the same false memories. The idea of shared false memories is not new. Ancient philosophers pondered the reliability of human recollection, and early psychologists studied how memories could be shaped, distorted, or implanted. Yet the Mandela Effect is unique in how it spreads widely through modern digital culture, where countless individuals across the world recall details that never happened or remember events differently. Historians and scientists alike now study this effect as a testament to the malleability of memory, the power of suggestion, and the intricate ways communities build collective narratives, sometimes at odds with reality itself. The Mandela Effect reminds us that memory is not a perfect record, but a living story shaped by minds, culture, and time. The mind's vault. Since ancient times, philosophers and scholars have marveled at the power of the human mind. From Aristotle's musings on memory to the Renaissance artists exploring human cognition, the brain has been seen as a boundless reservoir of knowledge and imagination. Yet only in recent decades have scientists begun to quantify its astonishing capacity. Modern neuroscience estimates that the human brain can store the equivalent of 2.5 million gigabytes of information. Far surpassing the memory of any computer built to date, this vast storage reflects the brain's intricate network of neurons and synapses, weaving memories, skills, and experiences into an ever-expanding tapestry. Through history, the mind has been both a mystery and a marvel, its capacity inspiring countless tales and theories. Today, this staggering measure of memory serves as a testament to the complexity and power of human intelligence, a silent giant within us, holding the stories of millennia and the seeds of future discovery. The self-made shield, a historic reflection on the stomach's secret defense. Since the earliest days of medicine, the human body has been a source of endless curiosity and wonder. Ancient healers like Hippocrates and Galen pondered the mysteries of digestion, imagining inner fires or humors breaking down food within us. But the true marvel of the stomach's resilience was not fully understood until centuries later. One of the most astonishing discoveries of modern physiology is that the stomach digests not only food, but could, in theory, digest itself. Its powerful acids, primarily hydrochloric, are strong enough to break down meat and bone, And yet, the stomach remains intact, never eaten from within. The reason lies in a remarkable biological process. The lining of the stomach is continuously renewed every few days. This rapid regeneration, discovered through 20th century cellular biology, ensures that the tissue exposed to acid is constantly replaced before damage can occur. It is a quiet miracle of self-preservation, a biological balance between destruction and renewal happening within us all, silently and endlessly. The universe within, a history of thought and synapse from the earliest days of wonder. Humanity has gazed at the night sky, counting stars and dreaming of what lies beyond. But the greatest mystery may not be out there, it may reside within. Ancient thinkers like Hippocrates and Galen debated whether the heart or the brain housed the soul. By the Renaissance, minds like Leonardo da Vinci began dissecting the human form, sketching the brain's folds with awe. But even as maps of the world grew more accurate, the inner workings of the mind remained uncharted. It was only with the birth of modern neuroscience in the 20th century that we truly began to grasp the brain's astonishing scale. Scientists discovered that the human brain contains around 100 trillion synapses, the tiny junctions that connect neurons and allow thoughts, memories, and emotions to spark into existence. To put it in perspective, the Milky Way galaxy holds an estimated 100 to 400 billion stars. Your brain contains far more connections than stars in the sky, a vast electric cosmos pulsing within your skull. In every thought, every dream, every memory, the brain reminds us, we each carry a universe inside us. Thanks for watching. Sleep tight, and if you feel like it, hit subscribe in the morning. Good night.